So how do you people out there who like really boring videos? It's Primo Kayak Season 2, and we're out in the garage here getting together all the kayak guts and morning coffee and the mutts, and disassembling in order to reassemble with the mods that I wanted to do all season but put off until the week before I could get out onto the water. So here's the Primo with all the sand and muck and dust and all that from sitting around the garage for a few months. Besides being a little dirty, it still looks very, very nice. Very, very orange. Very, very primo. There's the trailer. It needs a couple of mods, but otherwise it's still working fine. There's the old holder for the trailer, which I took off in order to scrub down the Primo with as much off as possible. So here it's all nice and cleaned and vacuumed and all of that, and ready for Season 2 and all the other mods that I wanted to get together. So there's the first thing. There's the brand new holder for the trailer. Very simple, third version. There's the camera holder. And then tucked in next to me is like albinos, wind thing, and whatever supplies. And made a little arm here on this front piece of wood there to hold the camera, so that's kind of like the teal cam, right? I can put it out and then get the mutts a better view, and then also kind of have two directions. So there's the trailer on the new little trailer holder, much smaller and easier. And I made that little, I don't know what we call it, rubber thingy. I made it a lot more sturdy. I put it in the actual holes of that. It wasn't assembled that way. And here it is. Day 1, Season 2. Yay! That you want to get pedaling again? You know what? I forgot to bring it to you. You had me this morning still. I suck. So this is around the first break, about 30 minutes into the paddle. That's where I turned the cameras on, because before that it's too dark for them to really pick up much. And then presto, by the magic of editing, we're at the halfway point. This is Site 6. It's a really nice free launch, and this is usually where the water goes from all calm to not all calm. And there's teal cam. And here's the mass of buoys out in front of the Site 6 bay or whatever. The middle 3 are telling boats to stay away from the fishing dock, and then the outer 3 are telling boats no wait. I guess, I don't know if a kayak can go into the fishing dock or not. They seem to get mad no matter what you do as fishermen, so whatevers. So we're coming into the regular break. I let the dogs walk around a little bit and go pee-pee if they need to, and then we have a protein bar, and then it's back to the paddle. But today, this place got a little a little surprise. So we'll do a little PSA. So I always keep my mutts on a leash, even here in a little private beach, even in the kayak, because they think they're like big badass and they'll get themselves in trouble. So it's mainly for their own protection. But we also learn that there's many other reasons to keep them keep them close by. Okay, now you want to keep an eye on this area right here, okay? Keep a close eye there. And can you see the movement? We got a visitor. So I got no idea. Teal there just floating along offshore, enjoying our outright bar, and kind of oblivious to what's going on behind us. And it's kind of interesting. I don't know why I decided to just float right there on this particular day to have our outright bar instead of paddling further out or staying on the shore or whatever. And we had just walked, the whole length of the beach and no one was there. I've reviewed this tape and I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he was back in that area, if he'd come down the hill. I couldn't really tell. But it was nice that the first time that I took this second camera out with this angle that we had this visitor. I had eyes in the back of my head today. Hum-dee-dee-dee-dee. We're just sitting there minding our own business. Coffee with that. Oh, hello there. And as you can see, I'm so concerned I decided to sip more coffee. I wasn't worried about him because I knew Teal was okay, and I don't even know if Teal ever saw him. But it was interesting to watch the behavior. I especially loved watching the tape where he was just kind of looking at us and just seeing, what are you guys doing? I was kind of curious. For the most part, when I encounter the coyotes, they mind their own business. But I am happier not to be in his path, obviously. But it was still fun to be able to watch his behavior.
Oh, they're not like that. There he goes. See you later, buddy.
So this was really cool. A coyote just went right up the hill and was just chilling up there. His domain. Didn't seem to mind us too much. It was nice just to be able to see coyote being a coyote. And I'm definitely glad to let Teal be Teal, but on a leash, because had she seen him, she could have gotten herself in big trouble there for sure.
It's all yours now, buddy. You get it. My shoulder story, kiddo.
I love watching the ferry do its turn. So about the same spot. Season 2, day 2, dog 2. Today is Pepper, but you can't see her up there in that special area made just for her because she decided she'd rather ride on my lap. Of course, that's Peppa. Peppa the spinner. Peppa the handful. See that bird just that flew up in the sky there? We're gonna see that bird shortly, a little closer up. I was kind of surprised here that we were able to paddle on by and not startle the bird. Usually they get mad and fly off, but just stayed chill.
No, you just said you gotta sit right in there. Like this big old kayak, just so you'd have all kinds of room. And look at you still telling me. You want me just to go outside and just let me see? And just put them behind, huh?
So this was a case where we veered a little bit off the path in order to go out and see what was floating in the water. But it was kind of a nice little detour because we got to see a better view of the sunrise, because usually we're kind of paddling with our backs to it. So this way we got a little detour.
Bag. Just right there.
So it was about 4 days between the last paddle and this paddle, and see now, like this buoy where it has this peninsula that goes out in that little rock thing, that was about a foot out of the water about 4 days earlier. It's kind of interesting how it's always, that's where I kind of tell where the lake levels are at, how much that rock is sticking up or not sticking up. But I always go around this buoy because I've gotten snagged on it. So pulling into our usual stop, and I was scanning for coyotes when I went in this time, and you can kind of tell here that the beach is a little bit smaller than previously. I think it looks a little smaller to me. The water level did change a bit. Okay, so note that tiny little glow over there. That will matter later. Maybe not immediately, but later. And now gear your keen eyes up on the land there to that big trailer with the 3 axles. And there's something sort of strange about its position. So now we get a couple of things where I got a question. So right here, this is a bay right up by Crazy Horse, like a very popular campground, lots of people around, and there's a fishing boat, and there's a dude out there fishing. Now here, we're in the channel, which is very narrow, and there's another fishing boat there with a dude fishing, and then right across the way in the channel is another person fishing. So it's kind of hard for me either way to not disturb either fisherman, right? Because all I could do is kind of eke by. They're both friendly enough, so big deal, and it's still early, so not an issue, but it makes me wonder, you got a boat, you got a big engine, why fish in these areas where there's so many people around? I mean, I don't quite get that. So coming to our de-launch area. What do you call that? When you launch a boat, you launch a boat. When you take it out, is it de-launch, unlaunch, what? Resume trailer position? I don't know what you call it. De-launch, unlaunch? Put the boat back on the trailer? I don't know. You're supposed to say a cart for a kayak, but I think it's so long and big that it seems to be deserved to be called a trailer. Anyway, I left it running for a while, and I love watching Pepper here, because she's just such a spinner. She's just moving all over the place. And as usual, right at side 6, water goes from glassy to not so glassy anymore. So here we're coming up on something unusual, and it wasn't there the day before when I came around this point. You can kind of see it off on the right hand side. You'll see it better in a second. This really kind of surprised me. I don't know why I didn't stop and check it out more thoroughly. I just kept thinking, no, I can't fit that on my kayak, so I just let it go. Well, at the time. Kind of see better there. It looks like a pretty good quality wheelchair, and I'm guessing someone rolled it off the ledge. And at the time, I knew I really couldn't do anything about it, and I didn't see any kind of tag or anything when I paddled by. But I did end up sending a screenshot and location to a police officer. I don't know if they did anything about it, but it seems like they get back to the owner. And here, remember I asked you to observe that little shiny bit? Now we're going to see why. So I picked up a pretty cute little light, batteries to work and everything. The glow, I guess, was just some sort of reflective thing. So with this shot, I'm just playing with the new arm there on the camera thing, and I wanted to see if it would pick up the choppy water and a little bit of white caps. It was kind of fun to paddle through. Now another visit the next day to our trailer in the strange location, and after a day of wondering how it ended in such a state. So it's so long, I can only guess that they just had to really back it up as far as possible, but I do wonder if it started hanging off like that or the ground collapsed below it. It's not really a huge issue with all those axles, but still, it does look kind of precarious, and it is still an edge. So the usual trip under the bridge, this time getting a little work done to it. So here comes a dude in a super cool boat. And kicking my ass if we were racing the channel. That is so cool. So pretty blue too. But you see, the major problem with such a boat, no room for teal. At least not as comfortably as on the Primo. Still a pretty neat boat. So again, one more trip around the island. So I'm not sure when wind will let me go out again. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, I don't know. Or maybe I will launch from Site 6 and go off the other side of the lake. Who knows? We'll see. Season 2. Yeah.